been times where I've done virtual therapy with Kingston and he like literally is like, bye, and he clicks it and turns it off.
Yeah, like 5 or 10 minutes into the session, we're like, you're done?
So speaking of chasing the standard, let's talk about the Broncos real quick, obviously.
Good segue.
The Chargers fan base is really, really cool, really, really welcoming, mostly, especially if you're at SoFi.
The preparation for...
Where's my Jayhawk question at, man? That's what I want to know.
It's coming right here.
Oh, if they take one message from this book, I would say not to compare yourself with others.
I mean, you got to have it nowadays in the NFL. I mean, that's just how you want to be a passing, high-powered offense. You got to have the offensive line to give your quarterback time to get the ball down the field, and that's what everyone wants to do. So,
like Bo Nix.
Yay! So obviously with Bo, and we'll start with the strengths. It was his ability to extend plays. He didn't take, I think it was 26 sacks last year. So Denver's offensive line did pretty good for the most part. There was a few where he's still young, learning the progressions, hanging onto the ball a little too much, but being able to extend the play, being able to run with the football, that's another strength of his. And again, just continue to grow. We saw the jump from year 1 to year 2. So now what are we expecting for year 3? And I kind of alluded to that the other night of now you have a new play caller who's going to modernize the offense. So now, being able to get the ball out of your hand quick, not on screens, getting the ball out of your hand quickly. You have Jalen Waddle. You should be able to use the middle of the field now, being able to see everybody, being able to, I think kind of what Ethan was talking about with Herbert was staring down the receiver. I think a lot of times Bo did that as well. It was one of those where he was stared down Cortland, so everyone kind of knew he was going there, and then Cortland never came open. So now you have to, oh shit, now you got to look for the next, and by then the play's kind of already scrapped. So just being quicker with his decision making, and that's going to come with time. Sean's offense is very meticulous, is very detail oriented, very quick. So again, the thing that he needs to get better on is obviously getting the plays. They got to get the plays in better. So hopefully Davis Webb, again, Sean's, we've heard some of Sean's play calls, and it's like, holy shit, now we see why it took so long to get the play call in. So you got to do that quicker. Don't get up to the line with 5 seconds left. Get it in quicker, get Bo a chance to read the defense. So I think he does that really well. He kind of knows when to look, where to look, get the hot reads going, and when to check out of the plays. So then moving into improvements, not being a hero. We know he has the clutch gene. He obviously, with all the, one possession, come from behind victories he had last year, it's not trying to be hero. There was too many times where he would try to force a play instead of just throwing the ball away or getting down. Just get to the next play. Live to see another day. Don't set yourself back. If you get into like a 3rd and 2nd and short, don't turn it into a 3rd and long and then get into a 4th and long. So just taking care of it, knowing when to cut your losses. He did take some unnecessary hits last year. And I saw someone said something, I don't remember if it was on TikTok or Instagram, that Sean Payton was putting Bo Nix in difficult situations with unnecessary hits. I don't think that was necessarily Sean doing that. That's just Bo being a competitive quarterback like any of our quarterbacks. Wow. We've seen Herbert take plenty of unnecessary shots because he's running for his life when he snaps the football. We've seen Patrick Mahomes try to truck over and has trucked over a few guys, getting a couple extra yards. So that's not necessarily on the coaching, putting him in a terrible spot, but just knowing when to keep your body healthy. Obviously now you're coming off the injury, the ankle injury, just take care of yourself. We've seen, finally found a Chargers fan. Look at that comment. What a comment. But again, we saw it a lot last year and the year before when he was playing with that fractured back. So take care of yourself. No unnecessary hits. We saw how bad they went downhill when obviously Bo got hurt and it was steady time. It was all but steady time in that AFC Championship game. So
there was one throw.
There was one throw that kind of gave us hope, and then the snowstorm happened, and we saw after that. So yeah, I mean, again, I have high expectations and high hopes for Bo Nix going into year 3. I do think he can be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL if he takes that good, the leap that we're expecting from year 2 to year 3.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyone want to add to that?
Yeah, One thing for strengths, it's not something you can really look at stats for or anything.
It's his ticker.
Kind of. I was just going to say his grit. I know that's maybe not be as important as some people and whatnot, but the dude's tough as nails. He's resilient.
Don't be a dildo, Bert.
Bert went from being awesome to being a dildo. But yeah, no, I love the grit he has. And I mentioned that leading into last year of why I liked Nix a little more than Herbert at that time. Herbert showed that a lot more this last season too. But I just love Bo Nix's grit. And it can be anything, whether it's toughness, his mental side of it. I mean, they were getting absolutely waxed on Demaryius Thomas Day at Mile High by the Giants. And again, I know it's the Giants, but you can really fold like a lawn chair when you get down like that at home to a team like the Giants. But he still let them back. So to me, I think one of the strengths, and you can throw it in like the leadership category or mental or whatever, but I just kind of like the grit he's shown through 2 years in the league so far.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
I can speak to something that he needs to improve on. So he also has the highlight deep throws, but his accuracy in the deep part of the field is all over the place. I mean, we talked about the week 3 Chargers game that the Chargers won. The Broncos should have won because Bo Nix missed like 3 throws down the field, which you could talk about as the Jesse Minter defense or whatever. But Bo Nix just can't miss those throws, especially if he wants to be in the top echelon of quarterbacks, because they make those plays. And we'll see what it's going to look like with Jalen Waddle. Because
I think those do come into play. And I'm glad you brought that up. So I think that's part of the reason I think Jalen Waddle helps. And now if he's starting to overthrow Jalen Waddle, then it's on Bo. But yeah, no. So I'm sorry to go ahead.
No, you're good. No, I was just going to bring that up just because of that's one of the places of Bo Nix accuracy. It can be really pinpoint or it can be all over the place, especially once you get over those 20-yard throws. Once you start getting into like having to like hit those cover 2 beaters, that's where he's really struggling right now. And I kind of wonder if teams are just going to start to play cover 2 against him and just see if he can beat them.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm gonna love about seeing what Davis Webb can do, because now you have Jalen Waddle, who not only can take care of the middle part of the field, but now you have that. I think that's what's going to unlock Evan Ingram here now too. I think he's going to be your kind of intermediate guy to kind of get right in front of that. So, but we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong, and you could be onto something as far as we see it, so we know defensive coordinators see it. So now it's one of those where, hey, he's still young. We can confuse him with some looks. I mean, defense coordinators are getting smarter with how they're disguising everything. I mean, we see Steve Spagnuolo do it all. Like, that's what he's best at, is disguising what he's doing. It's like, it's the same thing, but he shows like 7 or 8 different looks of it. So yeah, again, it's one of those where he's got to be better at it.
Yeah. And sometimes you just have your guys too, right? Like, how often do him and Cortland practice those 50-yard bombs, right? He probably is practicing those with like Mims and Franklin.
That's who he was overthrowing.
I've seen him and Franklin seem to have money bags, but it's no different than Mahomes. Like, he was garbage throwing the ball deep the last couple of years, unless it was Tyquan Thornton. Like, he couldn't hit anyone else at all unless it was Tyquan Thornton down the field. So again, sometimes it is personnel, sometimes it's a comfort level with, but at the end of the day, comfort level or not, those are the throws you have to hit, because those are the plays that take your offense from just good to great, right? Like, you can't march the ball down the field on 10 to 15 play drives every time. You got to hit explosives somewhere. So when you get the opportunity, you have to hit them. And that's kind of where the Chiefs stalled out last year. So I think that was a perfect point and a great thing to bring up for Bo, Ethan.